Hi, this is Jen and Joette of KEILY Mira Law, and we're here today to talk about the top 6 closing costs that a seller can face when they're selling their home.
Now, this is a hot topic for a lot of our clients, and this is probably one of the number one questions we get as attorneys from our clients and our realtors that we work with.
And so we're going to go through the top 6 items. The first is conveyance tax. Now, this is something that most sellers either don't want to pay or
wish they didn't have
to pay or don't know that they have to pay. Either way, it's always a point of controversy with our sellers. In the state of Connecticut, you pay a tax for the privilege of selling property here, as they like to put it. It's a 1% tax for most towns and 1.25% for others. So as an example, if you're selling a $100,000 home in the town that our office is in West Hartford, which good luck finding that, you'll pay a 1% conveyance tax, which is $1,000, 3/4 of which would go to the state of Connecticut and 1/4 of which would go to the town of West Hartford. Meanwhile, if you go a mile down the road, you'll be paying, in Hartford, for example, you'll be paying 1.25% to the state of Connecticut and the town or the city of Hartford on the same price property.
And if you're selling for $800,000 or above,
you are a very lucky person, yeah. But you'll be paying an additional tax. It's a much lesser amount at the point over $800,000. So you'd pay the regular rate until $800,000, and then over $800,000 would be at 1/8%.
The second closing cost that you will have is your recording and release tracking fees. So when you pay your loan off for your home, provided
if you have one,
right? If you're
lucky enough,
if you're lucky enough to have a mortgage in today's day and age in America, your bank will send you a release that gets recorded at the town hall, and that is anywhere between $60 to $159 for the first page, depending on whether or not you have a MERS mortgage, and then $5 for every page thereafter.
That's right. And if you're tracking that release, you're also paying for a company to track the release, right?
And when we say tracking, we mean that a company ensures that the lender that you're paying sends a release to the town hall and it gets recorded. So that's something that's like a verification.
Right.
And a lot of attorneys do use that. Now, if you are selling a property out of a trust or a probate situation and you have to record a trustee affidavit or a probate certificate, that is an additional $60 for the first page, and then again, $5 for every page thereafter.
Perfect. Now, the third expense would be attorney's fees. And that's, obviously a hot topic for us because that's the only fee we care about.
And you can't see it, but Jen has a baby to pay for and it's due in 2 months. So.
Yeah, so we're really worried about those attorney's fees. But attorney's fees typically are flat rates, everything from start to finish. In this area, most attorneys charge the same amount unless it's an extraordinary situation. For example, if you're dealing with probating a estate or part of an estate in order to sell the property, then that's going to affect fees. If you're out of state and you need a power of attorney, that could affect fees. So everybody charges a little bit more for the document prep if there are additional circumstances. So there's that to consider. There's also overnight fees or wiring fees in the event that you have to FedEx documents back and forth if you have an out-of-state seller or if you're sending wires for payoffs of mortgages. So those can all kind of rope into a legal fee, but for the most part, it's a flat amount and it is certainly disclosed to you in the beginning of the transaction. You don't have to pay it up front. It's paid at the time of closing and it comes right out of your check at closing. So you get a net amount at the end.
The fourth item is adjustments. Now, adjustments can either be a credit or an expense to you depending on whether or not you've paid the item. So for example, if you're selling a condominium and you have monthly condo dues and you have paid them, then you would get a prorated amount at the closing. So for example, if we're closing on March 15th and your condo dues are $100 a month, you would get $50 back.
If you've paid them.
If you paid them. If you haven't paid them, then you're going to give the buyer a credit of $50. Same goes for your water bill, if you have paid it or haven't paid it, and for the oil in your tank. Now, if you have oil heat in your home.
Or propane.
So if you have those items in your home, that's how your home is heated, and you have oil or propane in the tank, then the buyer will reimburse you for the remaining amount in the tank at the time of closing in custom of the county that your home is located in.
And that doesn't happen with gas or electricity, right? They just final bill you directly.
No, they just final bill you for those.
So we don't have to worry about that.
Don't forget taxes, another item that is...
It's the main thing with adjustments. Yeah.
Right. So if you live in a town in our great state that pays their taxes in either advance, which most do, but some do pay in arrears. If you live in one of the areas that pay in advance, then you are receiving a prorated amount of back at the time of closing. So for example, if we're closing on March 15th and you paid your January 1 tax bill already, then you will get a credit back from the buyer from March 15th to the end of June. Now, if you live in a town that pays in arrears and you have yet to pay your tax bill, then you'll be giving a credit to the buyer at the time of closing.
That's right. And if you live in an area with additional municipal taxes like fire district tax or a sewer tax, usually those items are paid on an annual basis. And so it would just affect the adjustment a little bit, but really you're still getting money back for anything that you've prepaid, and then you'd be paying the buyer for anything that you have not paid that would that the buyer would be responsible after the closing.
What about payoffs?
Oh yeah, mortgage payoffs, another great thing that everyone loves to take care of. So if you are selling your home and you have a mortgage, that includes lines of credit. Lines of credit are often not seen by a lot of homeowners as a mortgage, but it is. So it's connected to your property. We would have to get payoff statements for anything that is connected to the property. Whether it's a FHA loan or a conventional loan, that would affect the amount of interest that you pay, for example. So if you're paying off a FHA mortgage, you're going to be paying interest for the entire month, no matter when within that month you close. So if you are closing March 15th, you would be paying the whole month's interest no matter when you actually submitted the payoff. As opposed to a conventional mortgage, if you're closing March 15th, you'd only be paying interest through March 15th, or in most cases a couple of days thereafter, because we always add a few days of cushion to allow for the transit of that payoff. So, and to go back to lines of credit, we'd also have to obtain a payoff of the line of credit, and you'd be paying interest through the day that it's paid to the bank, and then you'd have to get another line. It'd be closed out, and you wouldn't be able to use it anymore, and have to get a new line of credit with any future property that you decided to buy.
The sixth and final expense as a seller is your real estate commissions, and you are going to be paying whatever the agreed amount with your realtor was in your listing agreement. So check with your realtor on that. Those are the top 6, well, those are the only 6 really, closing costs that you would incur as a seller. If you have any questions, please contact us.
And thank you for watching. And we buyers, we have not forgotten about you. There will be another video about buyers' closing costs, and we certainly have other videos as well that we'd love for you to check out.
Thanks, and take care.